AC is 14 grand, roof is 14 grand. Block off this side over here. We're gonna be getting rid of that, closing it up, blocking it out. So we're gonna blow out this wall, move the water tank into here. Hey, I noticed you haven't subscribed yet. We're putting out videos every single week about real estate, theme parks, and living in Orlando. Go ahead, hit the subscribe button. We're gonna have to do new electrical, new plumbing, new AC, new roof, new kitchen baths, flooring, doors, windows. Between all of those projects, it's gonna end up costing. So I'm always telling you guys that buying real estate, regardless of the market, is always a good thing. And today I'm gonna take you through our newest money pit here in Winter Park. This thing needs everything: roof, windows, HVAC, and so much more. Stay tuned. So before we get into the money pits, let me talk to you about how we found this deal. Somebody actually approached us and said, hey, I've got some family members that are going into hospice. We need a kind of a quicker sale. We don't want to go through the whole traditional process of decluttering the property and putting on the market and having people in and out, all that kind of thing. So if you are willing to work with us, we're able to give you a little bit of a better deal. So my wife and I, we did pay cash for this house, $400,000, understanding that we were going to need a ton of work. We went through, we started tallying up roof, windows, AC, baths, kitchen, all the other kind of stuff. And I was guessing that we'd need roughly $170,000 in work all in. So I mean, on this one, I was off $60,000 on our original rehab numbers, but two things happened. One, we didn't realize that the house had been struck by lightning. We had to take down ceilings, and how we had to rework the AC. That actually was our huge difference. And then the next thing is, I didn't know if I wanted to add a garage or not. The garage by itself ended up being almost $40,000. So when we're finally done with that, I think that the value add between that $60,000, we're actually gonna get a lot more back. One of the reasons I love this location is you have Lee Road just a couple blocks away, which takes you right over into Winter Park Village. But then you've got multi-million-dollar houses right at the end of the street that are sitting on Lake Killarney. So the fact that this is right here, sitting on 1/3 of an acre, right in this location, is fantastic. When you're thinking about buying a property, obviously location's important. So when I bought this one, I was thinking, what's coming to the area? What amenities could my buyers take advantage of? Or what the values could be in the future. Now here's the thing, if you're looking at buying an investment property, you need to make sure you're thinking about a couple different things. Do you have the funds to set aside to do something major like I'm gonna show you right now? Or should you be thinking about new construction? Like we own properties in Lake Nona, Winter Garden, and those were the easiest investment properties for my wife and I to purchase because it was brand new construction, put tenants in right away. We knew what the financing was gonna be. Whereas there's so many unknowns in houses like this, I think that's what I want to show you next. So there's a lot of things when I first saw this house that I knew that we could make a little bit better. One of the big ones was back here. This was actually all walled off and you couldn't access this from the inside. So I went around, I knew that this could actually be added square footage, even though this place needs a lot of work. You can see there's like cracks in the cinder block, there's kind of things, different slants. So I knew that if we had a proper structural engineer and the proper plans that we could have this as a value add. So what we're going to do is actually block off this side over here, add brand new windows, wall this part off, but then have French doors over on this side so you can use this as a functional office. With so many people working from home today, having these spaces available is really important. Let's check out this kitchen. One of the main things that we're gonna do in this kitchen area is get rid of this entire fireplace. It's Florida, it's hot here 11 months out of the year, and so we wanted to open this up as big as possible. So right in the kitchen area, you're gonna have a 6-person island right down the middle. That's gonna be really the focal point of this area. We're gonna have the stove and sink on this side and then build out a pantry. Now, one of the only things that I think really dates this house from the outside, beyond the windows and just sort of the overall pitch of the roof, is that octagon window. And so we're gonna be getting rid of that, closing it up, blocking it out, because there's already a lot of natural light in this kitchen. So having this eat-in kitchen overlooking the living, I think will give this a really great flow. Let's check out the owner suite. Some of the different value adds that I like to talk about often are how to make bathrooms and closets in places that they don't exist if they're a little bit too small. But one really easy one was adding natural light here, and this is the craziest thing. You see this drywall sitting here. On the outside of the house, I noticed that you could see curtains hanging, but on the inside of the house, I couldn't find where the windows actually were, and that's because they had drywalled over them just to be able to stick a bed here at some point in time. This house was built in the 50s, 55 to be exact, and so all of these little add-ons over the years, which we haven't even got to the crazy ones yet, has made it really an interesting house to take part of. One thing you notice is like the laminate flooring in here compared to what it was in here. This was probably the original closet, and then they turned the kitchen pantry into a secondary closet so that you'd have more space. We just decided to blow out the wall in between and add the pantry out there. Gives it a really like proper primary suite, which I think it's demanding in this price point. Over this side, we got the primary bath, and right now it's pretty small for the size of the house. You've got 2,400 square feet all in. So we're actually gonna be blowing this wall out, and let me show you what that looks like on the other side. So we're gonna blow out this wall and essentially double the size of the bathroom. We're gonna have a tub sitting in the corner, dual sinks and toilet, really good sized shower, and wall this off. And then beyond this, we have the new laundry room. So we're gonna move the water tank into here, washer, dryer, and then exit over to the porte-cochere. If we go over on this side of the house, this is where things got to be a little bit hairy, because I noticed that when we were walking through that the ceiling height was really, really low. And as you can see, there's plenty of space up in here, but sometime between the 50s and 2023, they decided to add in AC this way, bring down the ceiling, which gave it this really like cave feel. So now that we have plenty of room to go up and add new ducts, it's gonna be an amazing kind of open space. But here's another thing that absolutely shocked us, because we also have a lowered ceiling in here. And when we opened it up, we noticed that a lot of the rafters in this area were charred. And when we go back, we noticed that there was actually a lightning strike on the house before they put the roof on like 20 years ago. So we brought some people in to soda blast, talked to a structural engineer, got this really, really tight so that there's gonna be no issues for us in the future, but it also gave us higher ceiling height on this entire area. So we're gonna have to do new electrical, new plumbing, new AC, new roof, new kitchen baths, flooring, doors, windows. It's basically gonna be a brand new house. Welcome to the backyard. Now this house is sitting on over 1/3 of an acre, which is a really big spot here in the area to begin with. But one of the things we noticed when we first got it, there were broken down cars and broken cement and just so much stuff that we had to get rid of to bring room in for what you might notice is missing, a 2-car garage. So many of their houses here have a garage, this one doesn't. And actually that's gonna be one of the largest costs for us to do. So we're gonna bring pavers all the way up to a 2-car garage with a porte-cochere over that connects over to the kitchen. It's gonna be a really nice yard, even still with having to put in a large garage like that. So I'm really excited to see how this actually kind of all comes together once we finally clean it up, add some landscaping, and really dial it in from a functionality standpoint. One of the things initially I was looking at when I was looking at comparables for this house, where there were a few other ones deeper in the neighborhood that had sold in the mid 7s and high 7s, but this one right across the street just closed for $875. It's 2,400 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 2 baths, very similar to ours. The big difference with this one compared to ours is that it has a little sliver that actually connects over to the canal. So you're probably gonna reduce the cost on this by $50,000 to $75,000 when comparing that to our home. It also backs up to commercial space though, so I think there is a little bit of an equilibrium there, but really this comp is gonna help us save this deal. So there's a lot of things we need to decide over the next 90 days. Really, the biggest one is, do we flip it or do we keep it? And really, interest rates are what's gonna determine that. If interest rates for investment properties drop below 7, then I'm gonna keep it, because believe it or not, rents around this area for this size house that's actually been remodeled are over $4,000 a month. And so when we're all in at about $650,000 on this investment property, I'm gonna pull out about 70% of our equity. And as long as the taxes, insurance, and there's no HOA here, which is great, as long as that is less than the rents, then I'm gonna hang on to it. But if interest rates are still too high, then we're gonna flip it. And the reason why we're gonna leave 30% equity in the house is that's how we get the best interest rate with the banks in today's climate. That way we can take the rest of the money we're pulling out and go buy another one. We have our investment strategy where we wanna buy at least 2 or 3 houses every year for the next 20 years, and that becomes our retirement. Now, if you're thinking about buying a house, I love the idea of either turning your primary house into an investment and you buy another one, or maybe you buy a house every time you have a kid. And so if you hang on to it for 18 years, by the time that kid's ready to go to college, now you have a darn near paid off house that either through a cash out refi or the equity that you've built now can pay for their college. There's a lot of reasons why I love real estate as an investment. You know, if the neighbors are ready to sell after we're done with the one on the corner, I kind of like that one a lot. Because here's the deal, right behind us, you've got houses that are selling between $3 and $4 million on the lake. So it's going to be a fantastic area in the future. Listen, if you're thinking about getting in the investment game, whether it's resale like crazy like this, all the way to new construction, there's lots of opportunities still in Orlando. My team and I would love to be your real estate resource of choice. So email me, info@pozekgroup.com. We'll see you guys on the next video.